Most fitness coaches treat Instagram stories like a diary. They post whatever they feel like, whenever they feel like it. A motivational quote, a workout, a meal, and it doesn't make sense. And then they wonder why no one's reaching out to them in the DMs asking to work with them. But what I'm going to show you in this video is the exact story sequence system that we run at Next Level. The 5 sequence types, a rotation schedule for the entire week, and the exact benchmarks that we use to track whether things are working or not. But here's what makes it different from every other content video that you've watched. I'm not just going to tell you the structure, I'm going to show you exactly what the hooks are, the slides, the CDAs, and everything that you need so that when they're written for your audience, people resonate. It feels like it's been written directly for them. People who are trying to build muscle, who are trying to lose weight, who are trying to get stronger, because that's who you're talking to. And if your content doesn't sound like it's written for them and they don't resonate with it, it's not going to convert regardless of how consistent you post, how fancy your edits are, or anything of the like, period. Now, I've paid a lot to learn these exact systems and frameworks and trialed and errored for months. And you're getting the exact systems that work for free over the next 15 minutes. So stay with me and let me show you exactly how it works. But before I do so, before I show you the sequences, you need to understand what stories actually do inside your funnel, because most coaches have this completely backwards. Reels get people onto your profile. That's what their job is. They are the top of funnel attention tool and nothing more. A reel cannot close a client because it was never designed to. The stories are different. Stories are where the conversion actually happens. And here's why. When someone watches your story, they've already taken a voluntary action. They tapped onto your face. They chose to engage with you. This is a fundamentally different psychological state to someone who passively scrolls past your reel in their feed. And here's the compounding mechanic that makes this entire thing work. Every single story view moves a follower 1% closer to becoming a paying client. I know 1% doesn't sound like much, but think about what it means over the next 100 days of consistent posting. Someone who finds your profile today and starts watching your stories right now, by day 60 or 70 or 80, they've built up so much more trust, they've seen so much more proof, that when they finally shoot you that DM, it's not cold. It's not a cold inquiry. It's a decision that they've made over time. And that's the compound effect. And it only works if you post every single day. I'll come back to why this rule matters above everything else in a second. But first, the 5 sequence types. Every story you post should belong to one of these 5 categories. And each one has a specific job. Each one serves a different stage in your followers' buying journey. And when you rotate through them deliberately across the week, that's when the system starts to convert your browsers into booked calls. Now here's what I want you to pay really close attention to as I walk through each one. These examples I'm going to give you, they're written specifically for your audience. The people who are following you, who want to build muscle, who want to lose weight, or who want to get stronger. Because that's who needs to stop scrolling, who needs to trust you, and who eventually needs to book a call with you. Your hooks, your story slides, and your CTAs. They all need to speak to those people in those words. Type A is your curiosity sequence. Its job is super simple. Stop the scroll, create an open loop in your followers' mind, and drive them into DMing you a keyword. The structure is 3 slides. Slide number 1 is your hook, and the hook needs to be specific. A bold statement that your ideal client reads and thinks, wait, that's me. You leave it open. You don't answer it on slide 1. You force them to tap into slide 2. And here's what this looks like for your audience. A weak hook is something like tips for building muscle. Nobody stops for that. They've seen it 1,000 times. A strong hook is something like you've been training for over a year and your arms still look the exact same. Here's the real reason why. That stops a person dead in their tracks. The guy who's been putting in the sessions and has nothing to show for it, he reads that and taps immediately because it's about him. Another one, the reason you're not losing weight has nothing to do with your diet. That hook challenges a belief your follower is holding on to. They have to find out if they're wrong. Slide 2 teases the mechanism. You hint at the why. but you don't fully satisfy the curiosity. It's not your training split. It's not your calorie count. It comes down to one thing that nobody talks about. This is where you start building the tension. Slide 3 is your call to action. One keyword, one action. DM me the word muscle and I'll send you the full breakdown completely for free. That's it. One door, never two. The rule for type A is a hook with a result or a challenge belief. Tease the mechanism and one word call to action. Type B creates urgency. Its job is to move followers who already trust you, who've been watching your stories for a while now, who've seen the results but haven't taken action yet. The critical rule is this, and it's a non-negotiable. The scarcity that you provide must be real. The second you fabricate a deadline or you run a spot count, your audience can feel it. And when they can feel it, the trust that you've built over these 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 days of your story sequences evaporates permanently. For your audience, type B looks something like this. Slide 1. I'm taking on 5 new one-on-one clients this month. I only have 5 spots available and I want to fill them with people who are serious about getting results. Here's how to claim one. Immediate value perception, a reason to act right now. Slide 2 is a screenshot of recent client results, before and afters, maybe a message from a client who hit their target weight, something that shows that the 5 spots that you're offering are worth it. Slide 3 is the real scarcity. I have 2 spots remaining. Screenshot this if you want details, and then you show the screenshot. Proof that people are already moving. Only use this sequence when the scarcity is genuine. If you say 5 spots, you mean 5 spots. Type C is the highest converting sequence in the entire system. And I want you to note that, write it down. This one does more to fill your calendar than anything else. Its job is to stack client results, one after the other, from different types of people with different starting points, all producing the same outcome through your coaching, your mechanism. Here's why the variety matters. The number one objection that your potential clients will have and hold on you before booking in is this. This is probably working for some people, a specific type of person, someone else, but I don't know if it's going to work for me. Different clients in your type C story sequences destroy that objection before it even comes up on a roadmap call or a discovery session or a consultation. And here's what that looks like for a fitness coach. Slide 1 leads with a result. No context yet, just the outcome. She lost 14 kilos in 16 weeks, no meal replacement shakes, no 2-hour gym sessions, and here's what actually happened. Pair it with a screenshot of a before and after image. Slide 2 is win number 1. Full context. Her name, where she started. Sarah, 38, mum of 2, hadn't trained consistently in 6 years. Tried every diet, always fell off after 3 weeks. In just 16 weeks of coaching, she lost 14 kilos, runs 5 kilometers 3 times a week, and for the first time in years, actually enjoys the process. Real person, real details, real transformation. Slides 3 and 4, they stack win 2 and win 3 from completely different profiles. A 22-year-old trying to build muscle, a 45-year-old who wants to get stronger for the first time. Different people, different goals, different starting points, all getting results through your system, your mechanism. This actively destroys the "it won't work for me" objection, because whatever version of themselves your next client sees in these slides, there's a real person in your roster who started from the same place. Slide 5, you briefly show the mechanism, how it happened. Not the full breakdown, but just enough to make them curious, just enough to show them it's not a generic plan, through a system built around their life, their schedule, and their specific goals. Slide 6 is the call to action. One door. DM me the word results and I'll show you the details on how to get started. Run Type C twice a week, every Monday and every Thursday, every single week, and watch the compounding effect. Type D is where you go on the offense against the false beliefs that your potential clients are holding on to. And this sequence should be fed directly by what's coming up in your DM conversations and your discovery calls or your consultations. Every single week, look at the conversations that you're having with people who didn't book in a call. What did they say? What was their excuse? What did they give you? What did they believe that stopped them from taking action? That becomes your Tuesday story. And here's what type D looks like for a fitness coach like you. Slide number 1 names the belief plainly. Something like, you think you can't build muscle because you don't have time to train 6 days a week. That's not true. And here's what's actually holding you back. Another one, you think you need to cut carbs to lose body fat. That belief is keeping you stuck in a cycle that you'll never break out of. Or you've convinced yourself that you're too far behind to get into real shape at your age. I want to show you the data that proves otherwise. Slide 2 shows the math, or the data, or the client example that makes the gap between the false belief and the reality impossible to ignore. If the belief is, I need to train 6 days a week, show the client who trains 3 days a week and is ahead of where they expected to be. Make the contrast undeniable. Slide 3 throws rocks at the approach that isn't working. Not at your potential client, but at the system or the belief that's failing them. Something like, the reason your generic YouTube programs don't produce consistent results isn't you. It's that they're built for nobody in particular. Slide 4 introduces your coaching as the alternative, the mechanism that solves the problem that you've just named. And slide 5 is one call to action, one door. Your source material for type D is every objection that came up in your DMs and the calls for that week. If they're saying it to you in the conversation, 100 of your followers are thinking it silently. If you handle it in your content before it comes up, you'll never have it come up in the conversations again. Type E has no call to action, and I want to make sure that that's very clear. No call to action, no selling, no nothing. This is the sequence that makes people choose you over every other fitness coach in their feed. It's not because of your results, it's not because of your program, but it's because of who you are. Saturday and Sunday, this content is things for like your faith walk, time with your family, your own training, the reason you got into training in the first place, your origin story, the moment that you realized that fitness changed something in real life for you, and you wanted to give that back to other people. For a fitness coach, this might look something like the morning you're up at 5 a.m. training before the rest of the house is awake, and the camera just happens to be on. The conversation that you had with a client this week that reminded you why you do what you do. The Sunday where you share a bit of what's driving you beyond the income, the metrics, or whatever it is that's superficial. No hard call to action on these slides. Let the people who are watching connect with the human behind the coaching, because that connection is what creates the loyalty. And the loyalty is what creates the referrals, the testimonials, and the clients who stay. Now here's exactly how to rotate these across your week, because knowing the 5 types is one thing. Knowing which one runs on which day and what it turns into is a completely different thing. And that thing turns guesswork into a system. Monday is credibility day, type C. Stack client results, different body goals, different starting points, different ages. Cover as many variations of your clients as you can. Monday has the highest inbound message volume. Open the week with your strongest proof. Tuesday is belief shift day. Type D. Pull the number 1 objection or false belief in your DM conversations last week. Name it, challenge it with real data or a real client example, and position your coaching as the path forward. Wednesday is value day. Type A. Build curiosity around the YouTube video that's dropping today. Don't just say new video out today. Frame the insight. I'm posting this video today because I break down why 80% of people who train consistently still don't see results that they should. The link is in the bio. This story creates the curiosity. YouTube delivers the depth. Thursday is credibility round 2. Type C again. Different client from Monday. If Monday featured a weight loss journey or a fat loss journey, Thursday features a muscle building transformation. If Monday was a woman in her 30s, Thursday is a man in his 40s. Cover the full range of ICP who you help. Friday is your one hard call to action day. 1 per week maximum. The entire week's content has done the selling. Friday just opens the door. I have 2 spots for one-on-one coaching this month. DM me the word coaching if you want the details. 1 action, never 2. Saturday is authority day, type E. Your training, your life, your environment, your faith, no selling. Sunday is what we call faith day, type E again. Family, rest, the mission behind your coaching. Again, no call to action. Let the people connect with who you are. Go on Sabbath and let the system work. Now the numbers. Because the coaches who get the best results from this system are not the ones who post the most. They're the ones who track the data and optimize every single Monday before the week begins. And there are 5 metrics, and that's all you need. Metric number 1 is your story view rate. Your target is 9 to 11% of your total followers who are watching your stories. If you're below that, the problem is almost always your first slide hook. It's not specific enough. Tips for losing weight does not stop a scroll. The reason your scales haven't moved in 3 weeks, despite everything that you're doing, that stops scrolls. 2, slide 1 to slide 2 drop-off rate. You want less than 20% of your viewers dropping off between slide 1 and slide 2. If you're losing more than that, your first slide is either too vague or it's reading as a sales pitch. The second a follower feels sold to on one of your stories, they're gone forever. Number 3 is your DM reply rate to your call to actions. Your target is 7 to 10% of viewers taking the keyword action. If you're below that, then your call to action is too complex or it's too soft. It needs to be 1 word, 1 instruction. The simpler it is, the more people can actually do it. 4, total DMs generated from stories last week. Track the trend week over week. If it's flat or it's failing, you need more type C sequences, more client proof, more real results, more real people. And type 5 is consultations or discovery calls booked directly from your stories every single week. Look at where your booked calls have came from. If stories aren't contributing, then review whether your call to actions are actually pointing to the right step. Every Monday morning before you plan the week, pull these 5 numbers. Build the week based on the data, not what you feel like posting. I want to finish on 1 rule that makes everything that you're doing work or breaks it completely. And that rule is for you to post every single day. Every single day. Not 5 days a week, not weekends only, but every single day. The compounded effect that I described at the very beginning, the 1% per day that builds trust, only works without gaps. Every day that you miss in stories is not just a lost day of content. It's a fracture in the compound. The follower who is at 65% buying intent doesn't hold there when you take a day off. The momentum that you build across 6 consistent days doesn't carry through a silent Sunday. And a Sunday specifically is the most important day to post because that's the day that most coaches go quiet. And while everyone else in your niche goes dark, your type E content is the only thing showing up in your followers' story bar. And that's not an accident. That's a competitive advantage, and you get to build trust deliberately by choosing not to take that day off. Consistency is the system. The sequences are just the vehicle. So here's what you have right now. You have 5 story sequence types, each one with a specific job in your conversion process. Each one built with examples that speak directly to your people that you're trying to help. A weekly rotation so that you never have to wonder what to post. And 5 benchmarks to track every Monday. And on top of that, the 1 rule that makes the compound effect inevitable. This is the exact systems and frameworks that we teach our coaches to run every single day. Coaches who went from posting absolutely random content and getting absolutely nothing out of it to waking up with inbound messages from people that are already converted and nurtured and ready to go because of the content that's being posted. If you want to go deeper than this, I've put together a full content system breakdown that shows you how your stories connect to your real strategy and your YouTube to build the complete trust ecosystem. What I want you to do is click on the link below and join the NXTLVL Academy completely for free, because it's all found there. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel just yet, do so now, because I break down this sort of stuff every single week.